And we're live. Hello, everyone. Well, right now, no one, which. uh, Today, we are going to be talking about the show Sense 8 with my friend Lucy here. Lucy Peralta? Lucy Aqua de Luna. She goes by many names.
Hello. Yes, I'm just Lucy something, I guess.
She's Lucy something. She's Lucy something's here. No, that'll be.
Someone, I guess.
Someone's here. Someone's here.
Somebody is here.
Someone is here. I'm saying someone. But so yeah, well, I mean, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna get that many viewers in this because I feel like people. I've accumulated just an audience of tarot hoes, so I'm like, you know what? So what?
It's okay. It's for us mainly.
Really, it will be just for us, and we'll just have it there, something, and maybe if it garners enough, maybe possibly it'll go on its own channel. Who knows? We'll see. For now, we're just gonna, and hopefully we'll just keep it as us two talking about science fiction shows. Well, will it be science fiction shows? We'll see.
We'll see.
It seems like a majority of them are going to be science fiction.
Yeah, we clearly have a preference.
Yeah. So let's see. We are going to be talking about, well, overall, like everything. It's like at first I have like I think about the show and I'm like,
well,
I really don't feel much for it. Not like what is it?
Do you want to say the name of the show? I guess.
Did I not say the same? The show we are going to be talking about is Sense 8. It's on the title. It's on the title, fam. Well, kind of. I'm like looking at it. It's like, oh no, I'm kind of cut off there.
It is there.
So yeah, Sense 8, the show by the Wachowskis. Wachowski, creators of The Matrix, and they are going to come out with the fourth one soon. They also did Jupiter Rising, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
You didn't like it? I kind of found it okay. I like the weirdness of it, but everything else was just no.
I think the idea was interesting, and then I don't know. I think there was bad casting, and then just I don't know. It was like bad elements there, and I was like, I don't know.
I'm like holding back, like trying to yell out that one actor where he's like, "I create life," you know.
I mean, they usually are on point, but I mean, everyone is allowed to make mistakes, right?
Everybody has those days. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Which, speaking of acting, I'm just kidding. No, we're not going to jump into that. So let's start. Where are we going to start with this? Sense 8. Should we just talk about? I don't know. Like what? Let's talk about the main 8. You know.
The general intro, no, before we start with spoilers.
What? Oh, no Well, we are going to talk about spoilers. If you haven't seen it, you haven't seen Sense 8.
But
go watch it.
That's what I was going to say, no? Like 1 minute or 2 general intro, and then it's like major spoilers ahead.
Yes.
As you said, it's been long.
Yeah, it's been a while. If you haven't seen the show.
Can we actually talk about Guilty? Yeah, of course, you have Gail making trouble.
Okay, we're going to talk about our favorite season, the last 2 seasons, the best seasons of them all. Let's go into the highlights of those. Lucy, what was your favorite part? I think my favorite part was Jamie going back to Cersei. That was the highlight of the show. I'm just kidding.
I think my favorite part was everyone dying. Like, just die, please.
My favorite part was when the show ended.
Yes, that was my favorite part of those seasons.
But it's over. Okay, let's talk. Well, should we? I kind of want to just mention Sense 8. Given the cards that it was dealt, the ending was well done.
The ending is amazing. Yeah.
The ending was pretty good. Like, it was like, you can tell it was rushed, but compared to Game of Thrones has no excuses. If Sense 8 could pull it off, they can as well.
Well, Just major introduction, like Sense8 is a show about what would you say, Zack? Like,
Okay, so Sense8 is a show about 8 people who are telepathically connected, empathically connected, like through
I would just
across,
say connected.
right?
It's more than
It's
telepathy, more than empathy, more than.
yeah, well, for sure. It's like they feel each other's feelings, they have each other's thoughts, they can control each other, which is like what? But it's like there's
Well, control is like, yeah.
yeah, it's
And
like but it's like they allow them to, and it's like because they understand each other, they're like so in sync. It's kind of like the concept of consent. It's kind of there, you know.
yeah, and we can go into those. But I think overall, if there was one word to describe this show, I would say diversity.
For
Like, that was
sure,
so on point, the
it
entire
was
show.
absolutely, absolutely, and it wasn't like it wasn't too like when it comes to some diversities in shows, you can tell that they're very shoehorned in.
Or like
Uh,
forced.
yeah, it's like,
No, this was
not,
very natural, very intentional, very thought out, no, and
yeah,
taken care of.
it wasn't like it. Well,
It feels super authentic because it is.
yeah,
And
it's
sadly, the authenticity is what made the show just had 2 seasons, no, because it was too expensive to be
yeah,
that authentic.
global on a global scale. They went from to in from San Francisco to Chicago to Mexico
To
to
India, to
to India,
Africa, to
South
Seoul.
Korea.
Yeah.
Yes, everywhere. And so it's like you can definitely see that the Wachowskis definitely like put
Yeah.
a lot of like what they felt more openly in Sense8 than they did with even the Matrix, which the Matrix does have its like its influences, its subtleties of like non-binary, you know, motifs in there. I can't really explain it, but we're not talking about the Matrix here. We're talking about Sensei. So you can
Yeah.
definitely see a lot of that in Nomi's character. The you know
Little.
what she goes through and what, you know, like the first season though, it's like, girl, they straight up were like gaslighting her. She was like, they were
Oh my
about to
god.
lobotomize her. Like,
Yeah, as Aaron
which
said,
it's
no,
like,
because it was LGBTQ people plus writing about LGBTQ plus characters. So yeah.
yes, yes, what Aaron is saying, yeah.
So
And Gail,
that's
if you're not gonna behave, go and watch Sensei, and then you can come back and
I just watched the ending of Game of Thrones, so you can hate it again.
yeah.
So now, major spoilers ahead. No, this is your fair warning. Like,
Yeah, for real. We're gonna talk about the ending. We're gonna talk about the major plot developments, the twists, the turns, the reveals. Girl, some of them reveals, I'm gonna say, I feel like they weren't really that necessary. But
some of the reveals. Okay, I'm curious.
one in particular at I think, was it in the movie or was it in the we'll get to it. We'll get into it. Let's see. What's going on here?
So I think we want to do like season 1, season 2, right? There's only 2 seasons.
Yeah, 2 seasons and a movie. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
Let's
kind
start with season 1, right?
Yeah.
We start with we have our main cast, we have our main characters, we have it where, well, I don't want to go plot by plot because then we're just going to be retelling the whole series. But essentially, it starts off. We have a white woman high on meth,
White woman.
about to give birth to our main cast. Psychically, mentally,
We don't know, right?
it's
I was gonna say,
weird.
for a TV show, this is one of the strongest starts. No, it's punch you in the face right away. Like,
It's dark.
Like you-
It's like, yeah,
it's not like tipping the water or like, oh, let me see how it feels. No, like you plunge deep right away.
yeah.
So I
It's
really like
you're
that.
gonna see some
It's
fucked up shit. You're gonna
Yeah.
get which it's like
Immersed.
it's a very it's yeah. There's like there's such highs and lows in this. Like there's like some great like joyous and celebratory and ecstatic emotional moments, but there's also like some of the most depressing, darkest,
Yeah.
most horrendous things ever, which we'll see with Riley's plot and also with Wolfgang's plot, I feel. So yeah, it's like there's like in Kala's as well. It's like at first I think it's like things are going smooth, and then all of a sudden her father-in-law just gets stabbed right in front of a temple. Like, whoa. But anyways, let's see. Oh, I did not watch the holiday special. I'm seeing Error 92. I did not watch the holiday special. I was like, I'll celebrate Christmas when it's Christmas. It's June. Well, it's going to be June. Anyways, so yeah. What else are we gonna talk about? What else do we talk? Okay, we got our
The main characters.
Our mother and our main characters. So we have where do we start? I'm gonna start with Nomi Marks. You know,
Yeah.
our trans icon. She is probably one of the best characters in the show. I guess I feel
I don't want to play favorites.
I'm
I
gonna
love
play
them all.
favorite. I don't want to. I also don't like playing favorite, but let me tell you, there are some that I'm like, honey, why are you here?
Let me tell you. Okay.
Okay, let's see. Let's watch. Like, so Nomi, I really liked her plot. I liked the course of her storyline throughout the series, and yeah, and it feels like the Wachowskis just love their hacker plot lines. They just love their hacker.
And in a sense, as you were saying, no, with Nomi and the gaslighting, I think you as the audience identify more with her because she's the one really questioning all these weird things that are going around. Like, is this real? Is this because I have something weird in my brain going on?
Mm-hmm.
No, and that relates to her being trans. So that's like, is there something wrong in my brain? Because at some point, no, very early in the plot, you see her like detained, no, and about to have surgery because they tell her like, if you don't have the surgery, you're gonna die because there's something wrong with your brain. I mean,
yeah.
And if this was us in real life, you would kind of believe it because you're hallucinating, you're starting to feel things that you are not, like hear things that they are not there. You would think you're going crazy. Like,
But I think the good thing is that she knew that it was like, okay, so
the good thing is like she
knew that it was like she knew better.
She had Amanita.
Yeah, she had
Which
Amanita.
If we're gonna play favorites, that's Amanita, one of my favorites characters.
Amanita is a good character as well. She's great. I loved her. Love it. She literally comes into the rescue, literally. But I will say it's like she knew better though, also because she knew that it was her mom up on in her, transphobic shenanigans,
Well, we also, I mean, I don't know if her parents, I think they were really concerned about her, but I don't think they wanted to hurt her, no? And the doctor was already, convoluted with this organization that is trying to control, this new human species, that they are trying to control them. And then this like, well, this is a perfect entry, because she's trans, so like her family played a big part of that, like we know there's not much support, so we can attack through here. But I never thought it was like the mom or the dad trying to hurt her, but
and
like
I feel
the
like
doctor abusing them.
The dad was definitely like took a step back, and the mom definitely like took reins and control when it came to the family. But the dad really does come through in season 2, and probably one of the best moments in the series. But
Yes.
I have a little bit of an issue with that scene as well, but we'll get into it. So that's so Nomi. So yeah, then like the first half of the first season is like about getting Nomi out, and then her on the run. What else? I think let's see who's next. My second favorite would probably be Lito.
Well, I think if you covered Nomi before we go to Lito, then we need to talk about Riley, because she's like, I do feel like the first season is like rescue someone. If you're rescuing Nomi or you're rescuing Riley.
It's season 1 should be retitled Season Save a Ho. And let me tell you, first it's Nomi, then it's Riley. Let me tell you, after Riley's plot, season 2 on, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see why she was still here. What is she offering
Who,
to
Riley?
the group? Yeah,
Riley?
Riley. I'm like, what does she
Well,
offer to the group?
she's actually the one who makes the main connection, not to the other clusters, which we'll get there.
You see, I keep forgetting that. I keep forgetting that. And she's like, I guess she's like, what? She makes a good soundtrack. Like, what
But
else can she do?
I think she's
My
awesome
Capricorn,
because
my Capricorn moon is like, what can she do? What can she bring to the table?
I think one
You
of the
know?
best moments is when she starts playing the song, no, like what's going on, and then
Oh,
everyone starts just like feeling it and living it, and that's when I think that's the first. I don't know.
I think that,
Correct me if
yeah,
I'm
that
wrong.
is what it
The
is.
first time the 8 of them are together.
I think, yeah, I think that's one of the things that was lacking. They needed to reinforce that she made sure to keep everyone together and connected everyone. I didn't really get that in the second season. I think the second season was, oh, I'm in love with Will. I'm Will's girlfriend and I'm helping Will. I'm like, girl.
Well, I think that's one of the things we see right away, you know, like Riley's and Will's relationship. And it's true, like you have like the super hacker, you have like the super killer, you have like the super fighter, you have the cop, no, you
The
have the
driver.
driver.
Yeah, like
And
even
it's
Kathy has got a
very
job to do.
it seems very functional, but I also like, you know, Kala and Riley, I think they're like the underdogs, but they stand their ground. Like
No,
they
no,
know
I
how
like
to
no.
do shit.
Kala is far more
Because
useful than
she's like the
Riley.
super smart
I'm
one.
telling you right now, 1 to 8, top of the list, it's Nomi. At the bottom of the list, I'm sorry, it's Riley. I'm just, honey.
I really like Riley,
Like,
actually.
they needed to do more with her. I wanted more with her, and they just
Well, she's.
tragic.
I think she
And she has
is there to highlight how a relationship within the.
that is also true. She's the relationship plot. but yeah, it's like
We could also argue, you know, that Kala and Wolfgang are also part of the relationship plot in a different way.
yeah, in a much more complex
Which is
way.
it's interesting, no, in those clusters to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
And-
relationships. We'll get into Kala's relationship drama when we get to her.
I
We're
love
gonna get
that.
to her. She's my favorite because she has like so much going on.
But I do stand by Riley.
But Riley, it was really more like going through her trauma, through her past. Let me tell you, this is one of the things with the show. It gets fucked up. Like too crazy. Okay. Like, are we ready to talk about this?
Yes, and hi everyone joining the chat.
Hello, DC, and I should say, yeah, hello everyone that stopped by. So Riley's big like plot reveal was essentially that she was in a car accident.
Yeah,
and not only did she lose her husband in the process, but she also gave birth and then lost that baby as well. Okay, like that was like I was like that was fucked up right there.
That was a major plot twist.
That was like I was like, girl. But what I did. Well, I'm not sure. Well, I mean, this is one thing I was like, I'd have to look into like what people talk about with processing and going through trauma and living again through trauma, because when she does get saved, that's like a whole tie into it, her processing through all that, you know, through that past trauma and healing from that so that she can save again to save a man.
But she's one of the. I think she's one of the strongest, and I think because she doesn't have like super something, but she has all the street smarts. She knows where to hide. She has the contacts. I think her father is also one of the highlights. Her father is amazing. She has the music connection, which I do think it's a very important connection.
That's one of the things. Like that was her thing. Like I was like, oh, music, and it was what connected them. Like you said, like what's going on, the song, you know, and it's like. She's like, I wanted more of that. I wanted that to be ensured. Like, if any, like, you know, if only she had like a good, like, there was like some sort of back and forth with her and Wolfgang. I think the drama with Wolfgang could have been easily, like, you know, helped because, you know, they're kind of like, oh, does anyone? I'm like, well, isn't she supposed to be the one that connects everyone? Like, you know?
Yeah, I think she's definitely the underdog because everyone seems to have superpowers. Even Lito, no, which is like the actor. But then we find like we find his talents, you know, being really needed. And I think
Well,
Riley's talents get like take it for granted, because if without her they wouldn't like have survived Whispers, one of our villains. Like she was an
I'm gonna
essential part of surviving Whispers.
how.
Well,
Well,
she knew like all the
She did help
underground.
Will. What was that?
She knew all the underground places,
Oh,
how to
that's
hide,
true.
where to hide, the drugs, what to
That's true.
take, what
That's
not to
true. Yeah.
take,
Oh, that's true.
dosage.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
true.
Kala starts helping, but it's really Riley's
Yeah.
expertise
Like
in that world.
Paula could have been like, "Here, go under your kitchen cabinet. We need this, this, and this." You know?
Yeah, but
And
I
here's
mean,
how you make the blocker. But of course, they did need help. But
mhm.
um, but aside from that, I will say with Lito, like I feel like his power, his ability, his contribution to the group, to the cluster is it was also kind of undermined a bit. And it's like he's the actor, he's supposed to be able to maneuver and manipulate through like acting in a certain way that could play it off and trick people in that way. But like when it came to actually acting, he couldn't pull it off, and Sun had to come through and like which I'm like, wait a minute, she ain't the actress, what's she doing?
Well, but
Go
because
back
he
to the
had to
dojo,
leave
girl.
real emotion, and the real
And
emotion came
true,
from
yeah,
someone else.
that I get that, and that was like
He has
her.
awesome bartender skills. He saves on in that. The bartender skills. You
What
have
he
those?
gonna
I
do?
don't have
Flip a
those.
bottle at Whispers? Like what?
They needed that.
But yeah, again, it's like I
And
get
he
it.
also, Lito
I
also
get.
saves Wolfgang, because Wolfgang says like, I don't know how to lie, and Lito is like, I do.
It's
I
like yeah,
have this.
which it's like I'm like yeah, that's the part I wanted that, and it's like Lethal should have been able to pull out the acting chops. I feel like that's one of the things that they could have put in as a plot point, is that Lethal was always like in these action movies, and there wasn't really much. It seemed to me like it came off
Emotion.
as like there wasn't much, uh, acting stretching of legs. If that makes sense for
But
Lethal.
I think that's
And
really
it and
authentic, especially for a Mexican character. I
yeah,
feel
and it's
that's
like
very, very
he
accurate.
should
No,
have
like
yeah,
he gets typecast, no, in a
the
particular
typecast,
kind of
yeah.
movies, the macho alpha guy,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
he's like good, but in his own genre, no. So I feel it's very, very like
I
true.
think yeah,
When he
yeah.
gets toxic emotion, he needs to pull from someone else, no, to
You see, and
reflect that
that's where
emotion.
I'm like, you see, if acting was his own thing, he should have been able to work on that. It's just that him being, closeted and being and essentially forcing himself to be typecast and then working through that would have been something that they could have worked through, and they probably would have worked on that in a third season or a fourth season over time,
Yeah.
instead of having to rely on like Sun always having like an emotional breakthrough, so
But I think
yeah.
it's so important for those two, because when we get Sun, no, she's presented as, no, in the very Asian stereotype, very like you cannot express emotion, like very
That
cold,
is very true. Yeah,
very
this is also,
pragmatic,
yeah,
very,
also true. Yes,
So
it's
when
true.
she reveals, no, when she breaks, when she allows herself to break, we can see that, no, through
Mhm,
Lido.
mhm,
So I think
mhm.
it's a perfect marriage there.
That's true. And they do have like an interesting back and
Dynamic.
forth between the two.
Mhm.
Yeah, with like my favorite part of season 2 was when Lethal was in that onesie and depressed. But that's one of the things also. It's like Lethal was also like depressed through all those seasons. Wait a minute, if he was depressed, he should have drawn from that when he lost Hernando, and then when he was depressed when he lost his career. He knows those emotions, so why wasn't he able to do it?
No, but when he also experiences, no, like the period, like the cramps and the
That's true.
feeling like
That's funny. Which
from
is
sun.
interesting. Which is again, I wish they could have had another season and they were able to develop. Why does Lethal and Sun have these stronger connections? Why doesn't anybody else
Well,
get
we could
that
argue, no,
way?
like Will and Riley. We seem to have like the duplets, no, like Will and Riley, and then of course Wolfgang and Kala, and then we have Lido and Son. And I don't know. I guess that leaves Nomi and Cassius,
Yes. Mm.
which they don't really interact
They
that
really,
much.
yeah. And again, it's like there's certain seasons, like again, Wolfgang and Riley, they barely get any time together. I think that's one of the weakest parts of of a show of this grand scale. All these characters not being able to get enough screen time together, and again being cut short because Netflix is trash. You know,
Well, I
we could have
mean,
gotten more. We could have gotten more.
I understand because I mean, I'm like I think I was like a super fan from the beginning. I think I didn't take that long to watch this, and I remember when season 2 was announced to be canceled. One of like I never signed these petitions, and I never cared, not even for Game of Thrones, which I was like really upset about, or maybe I did care about that one. But
Mm.
there was like a major petition signed, no, to get funds and to get like a season finale in a movie or something else.
Some closure
And
because they did leave it on like a cliffhanger, and I started watching the movie and I was like, oh, is this like I thought the movie was like the season finale for season 2, and then like another movie was going to come out. I thought that 2 hour thing was the season finale, but no, that was the movie. And I was like,
yeah,
oh wait, oh, so now, and then I'm looking back on it, oh, that was like a very cliffhanger. I can
yeah,
only imagine the cliffhanger, and then like getting that it's canceled. I would have been like, wait a minute, no, no,
yes, like
no.
no, give us more. And I
Because
think they were only starting because in season 1 is like basically know your characters and some of the abilities. No, like get to know them. And then season 2 is when we start expanding this world. No, we now
yeah.
know about other clusters. We
Mm-hmm.
know about like the triple goddess, which we'll get into that. We know about major things.
Did the triple goddess show up in season 2? The three mothers? No, that was in the movie.
I think that's the season finale.
But they do show like, okay, you have this is another character that was like not, what's her name? Lillian? Lila, right?
Oh, Lila. Yeah, that major bitch.
Yeah.
I hated her.
I
was like,
liked her. She was a
I'm
bad
with
bitch.
Kala. I
She
hated her.
said, I'm gonna build my kingdom and I'm gonna do it my, you know, and she was gonna go to any lengths to get
And
that.
you know, one of the things is like I actually wanted to see more of Lila's cluster because I think we only see one guy.
And
I wanted
for
to know
sure,
them.
and they were for sure going to like hype them up. They were definitely hyping them up, you know, in season 2.
Hmm.
I was like,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
ready. Let's see it, you know.
the
Also, like,
restaurant scene. No,
oh
like
my god.
oh,
Oh, whoa.
we just jumped to season 2, but you got
Yeah. Well,
this.
I mean, it's. I feel like going plot through the plot, it's gonna, like I said, girls. We will for sure eat through the time before we get to season 2. I think it's best to go through the characters. So, like we talked about Sun. Let's talk about Sun because you know they kind of link into each other. You know. So
Yes.
like going from we kind of jumped into Riley and then we went to Lito and then now
Hmm.
with Sun with, well, damn, there's like so many I'm like, oh man, but with Lito we're forgetting Daniela. I'm like,
Oh,
Daniela's one of the highlights as well.
Danny and Hernan. I love them.
They were the highlights. They were the highlights.
I think my Danny favorite scene is when like she pulls a gun and like
Oh
is
my
like
god.
a master at the gun and she's like, what's the name of the other guy, the ex-boyfriend? She's like, yeah, that guy. No, that it
Oh,
makes sense. Like,
I can't remember his name.
ah, I'll
Mm.
search for that.
Yeah,
He's one of the
you look
minor
that up. But I will say
characters.
this actually brings up one of the things that I had an issue with. They did it with her ex, what's his name, and they also did it with Bendix, the FBI agent that was hunting down
Joaquin.
Nomi. Joaquin?
Joaquin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They did it with Joaquin, where like towards the end, Joaquin somehow gets in contact with the parents, with Daniela's mom and dad, and then they like show up all villainized. It came off to me a bit fanfic like, you know. It didn't feel, you know. I thought we already resolved this. Oh, he's back again, you know, mustache twirling villain type thing. You know, it's like, what is this? You know, and then Bendix did it again in the middle of a wedding, which I'm pretty sure that's illegal. And I'm pretty sure Bendix got fired after that. Like, but
About what?
when Bendix stormed into Nomi's sister's wedding,
Oh, yeah.
I was seeing him do that, and I'm like, I don't think this is legal.
But isn't like the Naomi's father like a major lawyer?
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, which we'll get into that later, though. I don't want to get into that. It's like I
Okay.
said, I just wanted to point out, like, those two scenes. I think there might have been another one, but those two, I was like, that's not. It's not flowing right for some reason. It's just like, it's like we already dealt with him, you know, and then they're gonna bring in the parents, and then he's just it's a bit convoluted. It seems a bit forced to me. You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah, I guess a little. But I mean, I'm biased because I'm from Mexico, so if you're gonna give me more Danny or Nan Little time, I'm not gonna complain
And
about it.
and that's the thing. Yeah, we could have had more of it. We could have continued with that and done, you know, more of the show. But then like to have like after this, you know, this great time that they had, and then like bring in Joaquin. Why did Joaquin even need to be there? I don't think
No,
he needed to
I
be
think he
there. I
needed to
think
be
that's what it
there.
was. No, he didn't need to be there. I'm gonna say
No, of
this
course he
because
did
I think the
because we
parents
need
should
to
have been there.
show. No, we need to show like this guy, which is again, this is a very classical Mexican example because there are a lot of these guys who have this power, who control women, and even though like women can be strong, they get a sense of fragility of like, no, 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 like he's dangerous, he's gonna put my family in danger or my friends in danger, so I'll do what he wants. No, and
Mhm.
Danny, we see that she's strong and smart, and she gets hit, no, and she gets into this messy relationship, like she doesn't know how to get out.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think
true. It's
he's
like
very
yeah,
important.
which I wonder what more because I feel like she kind of had to do that with her family in general, which makes me wonder like what type of a family does she have, girl? You know what I mean?
Well,
And
we
so it
see
kind of
that
makes
like
her relationship,
she's
which kind of makes her relationship with Lito and what's his name, Hernan,
Hernan. Uh,
the boyfriend, the
no,
one
and
with the glasses.
he's also like in the Mexican soap operas. He had a major role. I don't know, 15 years ago, but he
Hmm.
had a major role, so he's very well known in the Mexican community. And I think he has been trying to get out of that because he was like the classic soap opera, like fancy guy, you know, like ooh, I'm
Mhm.
like the hero kind of vibe, but in a
Yeah,
not in the good way. No, so I think he has been trying to step out of that to expand himself as an actor, and I think Sense8 was a great way to do that.
yeah.
Although I would say I'm kind of a little worried that after playing a gay man, which is a very big deal in Mexico, no, because I feel Alfonso Cuarón, which is the actor playing Hernan, is actually like in real life Lito, because now I think he has been typecast to only play gay characters. He was in
Mm.
a movie recently, like last year or so, and he was also gay. So I'm like, are they typecasting him because he played a gay guy because he was brave enough to do that? So
Hmm.
now I'm afraid like maybe
Hopefully, it's
it's
like
very. I mean, what Lito goes through, it's so true. Like once you're gay, is like in Mexico.
you're nothing else. You're gay.
Exactly. I'm glad that it's more accepted now, but still,
Mhm.
no, it's like, oh, you're gay, you're weird. There's something wrong with you, but we'll accept you. And I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with them. There's no like straight or left thing. They're like, and and I have a lot of friends that don't realize that they are kind of homophobic, and it gets me riled up. I'm like, no, they are not weird. There's nothing wrong with them. This is not like, oh yeah, I want to say it's a choice, but it's not something like, it's not like you choose to be gay, but you choose to live it to the fullest every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, how you choose to express it and live it in a different way. Yeah, it's not there are lifestyle choices, but it's like being gay in itself is not a lifestyle choice. It's just, you know,
No, I
again,
think that's a
right?
realization, no, that you come to accept that, and it's something natural. I would say being gay, and this is why we're discussing Sensei, and I think we're both passionate about it, no? It's because it talks about this community and how normal it is being gay.
I, I yeah, I will say they do like kind of break down like like pretty much all the characters are pretty much bi. You know, like barely any of them are straight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm like thinking about like when, you know, girl, let me tell you, there's a lot of sex in this show.
Oh my gosh.
I was like,
And the sexes
oh my god,
so good. Like those
it's
orgy scenes that we get, one major orgy scene in season one major orgy scene in season two.
we get like at least like 3 good orgy scenes.
And also the
And they're
I think
not,
the
and they're not
relationship.
afraid. They're not afraid to do that, which I'm glad that like Netflix is like very like pushing for that, you
Yes.
know? And it's like,
And go, sorry.
no, you go ahead, girl.
Oh, that I was gonna say that I like, because sometimes I feel like we have too many relationships, but I love like the like Riley Wiley. Yeah, we can call them Wiley now. Riley and
She's
Will.
wily.
Riley and Will have this more like cutesy relationship, no,
They
more
have,
like
yeah,
loving. And
they're the
then
boring ones, yeah. Mhm.
I like them. But then Kala and Wolfgang is like so passionate and sexual and like forbidden and like, and you can tell, no? Like I know very little about India, but I can only imagine Kala going through the whole mess of, but I'm engaged, but I don't know this man, but he's like the perfect husband.
Okay, here's
And
the thing. Here is the thing. Let's talk about Kala then.
Kala, go.
Let's talk about her. We're gonna get into this. And again, this is something that I think they definitely had to like cut off at the head before, you know, and not really take it out anywhere. But I'm pretty sure Rajan was supposed to be a villain. I'm pretty sure he was supposed to, or you know, because I feel like there's like undertones of like Rajan and the pharmaceutical company, and then also with Sun's brother, his company and all that. And apparently there was like, they were like, oh, some pharmaceutical companies coming over. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I made connections, but that's besides the point. What I'm gonna say here
Yeah.
is that Rajan did love Kala. Like I feel like he cared so much for her, and I felt so bad for him. But like one thing that I latched onto was that Kala said, "I don't love him," you know.
Yes.
And this wasn't like an arranged marriage. Like
Well, it
she
kind of
could've-
was,
it kind of was,
but
but
it wasn't.
yeah,
Not
it's like,
officially.
it was, but I'm pretty. But the point is, I feel like
Mhm.
if she told her parents, like, I don't want to go through with this, I can't do it. You know, I
Yeah.
don't want to. I love the naked German man in my head more than you know. And so,
Well, that I'm not sure how supportive they would have
no,
been.
no, they're obviously not. I'm just joking. Like,
Yeah.
But point is, like, you know, she knows some. Yeah, when she knows someone else that she loves, you know, and she has more stronger feelings towards, and when there's zero chemistry for Rajan. But poor Rajan, like he loves her so much love to give, and yet he didn't get, like, you know. But it's a good thing that he stuck around.
I like the plot twist for the three of them also.
Yeah, that they became like that. They're like, there wasn't no petty, like, you know, love triangle drama. Like, no, we're over that. Just make it, you know, together. And like Wolfgang is like, hey, you know what? Hey, he's not too bad himself. Yeah,
He's cute.
yeah. I'm like, when like and like it's like, girl, it's like,
Yes, I know which scene you're talking about. Like that scene in the
I'm like,
bed.
that
You're
girl.
like, okay, yeah. And I like that Kala is like, so they are like, what are you gonna do? And Kala is like, yeah, what am I gonna do? And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna talk to both, because she's like, I want both. And I was like, you go, girl.
She wanted her cake, and she's gonna eat it too.
Exactly, because
And the other cake on someone else's plate. Good for her.
I love that they also very lightly, but I think they explore into these poly relationships with Kala, Rajan, Wolfgang, and also with Lido, Danny, and Hernan. Because that's,
yeah.
I mean, Danny's role was a little weird at the beginning, so you're like, well,
Yeah,
is she the friend? Is there a
And-
sexual component? Like, what is it?
She is okay. I'm gonna say this is that it's very common for she's kind of the antithesis or the opposite of how the male gaze is to like women in a lesbian relationship, or you know, like, you know, where a straight man will you know, get off to two girls kissing, versus, you know, you rarely see women getting off to two guys getting it on together, you know. So you kind of see that dynamic there, and she's obviously there to kind of break through that and show that, you know, these women exist.
Oh yes, they do.
So
And
I
I
think
like
that,
that.
yeah.
Like first, she's the very stereotype, no, like what we call barba. I think. Yeah,
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's
a
a term.
beard. Yeah.
A
Mhm.
beard. No, like she's that, but then she's much more, and that's and I think they wanted to explore
Mhm.
that more. We only got like few glimpses here and there, but it's very beautiful. No, that they do, especially when Danny leaves. No, and Lito is like, well, I cannot do anything, and Hernan is like, well, if you're not doing anything, then we're not together. No, like
Yeah, it's like because it's like Hernando knew that like she was essentially becoming part of their family, and so it's like,
exactly.
and so it's like Hernando knew like, okay, if he can do this to her, what is he going to do with me then? So I'm just going to get myself out of there before you know it gets any worse, because yeah, and Lito had it coming, but thankfully he learned his lesson, you know, and he got
Yeah,
Danny back, beat the shit with the help of Wolfgang, you know, beat the shit
yeah.
out of what's his name, Joaquin, right?
Joaquin, yeah. I love Aaron's comment like triangles. What's this? The 80s polyamory. Yeah,
Polyamory.
like triangles are things of the like a thing of the past. Like,
Yeah, it's like we got the most out of it with Twilight. We're
oh
moving
my
on.
gosh, no, stop it, please,
Like,
stop
we're not
it.
doing Aliens. We're doing Twilight next. I'm just kidding.
No,
No. I'm just kidding. So yeah. Let's
we
see.
can trash it. I sadly enough, I watch the movies, so I can trash
What?
it.
Twilight?
Yeah.
Everybody watched the movies. It's like we kind of know that they're bad, and we kind of, as a part of like, you know, the media culture, you know, it's kind of like it's an interesting piece of series. We'll
Taylor
talk.
is hot, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch that because he's hot.
I'm like, was anyone? Well, I can't believe people were actually Team Edward. I'm like,
Have you seen Taylor?
have you? I'm like, are you not looking? Do you? What's not clicking?
Do
You
you
know?
have eyes?
Are you blind? Like, do I need to clean your glasses? Like, you know?
And funny enough, I was Team Edward. What's his name?
We're
Robert.
stopping this. We're stopping this.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Before I even knew he was Edward, no, but because he plays now Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter, and
Or
Cedric
like
Diggory
those
is
like
like
20
this
minutes. Yeah.
super cute, hot, smart, like he's the guy, no, like he's the guy everyone wants in Harry Potter, gays and straights.
Was he?
Yeah, in the books, and I
I
think
mean,
he
like, was there
was.
anyone really that attractive in Harry Potter?
Yes, he was.
I'm like,
He is supposed to be this like the golden guy,
I
and
thought
I
he
think
was
the
supposed.
actor
Honestly,
is
yeah, I think he was supposed to
accurate.
be. Well, he's what the internet community calls a cinnamon roll. You know, perfect in every way, sweet and like savory and delicious, but
I've
perfect.
never heard
And
that before.
yeah, it's they call them like a cinnamon roll. There's I'll
Okay.
send you like a few other examples of cinnamon rolls.
Perfect in every way. I love that.
But yeah, Cedric was supposed to be the cinnamon roll, and so when you know he dies, it's like more impactful, I guess.
Yes.
Wow, J.K. Rowling really did that. She said, "I'm gonna give you something perfect, and then I'm gonna take it away from you."
Because she needed show free.
Oh. Let's see. Okay, so where were we?
Back to Sense8. Sorry for the commercial.
Yeah. It's like, girl, you talk about one franchise that's gonna spread out to others. So let's see. Okay, we talked about Kala, right? Well,
Yes.
we talked about Danny, and then we talked, and then so yeah,
We
Kala,
love Kathleen.
or the love triangles are dead. Okay, so that kind of ends that little link. Let's move on to Capheus, right?
Capheus, yes.
Right? Okay, so yeah, Capheus, I also enjoyed his plotline, though I will say he did feel kind of a little bit disconnected from everyone else. But again, struggles with so many like essentially a bunch of main characters and main plot lines, and having to weave them all together again. Some aren't gonna like mesh as well together, but for the most part, they did a good job compared to like other shows and movies. But this was well done, and so. With Capheus, it's like you have, his struggles living in, where was he? Where did he live?
Nairobi, I think.
Right? Nairobi, right?
Yeah, I think Nairobi.
Somewhere. I should have paid more attention.
I'm
But
double checking. Yes, Nairobi, Kenya.
I loved his back and forth with his friend, in, as the bus drivers, as the Van Damme, to Van.
I feel if we were living
Honestly,
there in
okay.
Africa, we would be like, oh yeah, this is iconic. Like I totally believe that.
I love, yeah, and that's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna say this. They really do get the cultural tones in
Nuances.
each, yeah, the
Yeah.
nuances and the tones in each of the areas where they live. With, especially, you kind of see it with India, but I will say, honey, they should have hired someone else to film that Bollywood dance that Rajan did. That shit was filmed so terribly. I'm like, what are they doing? We're supposed to see the whole group dance. What is this?
I
What
like
is this?
that, but it was
But I
it
like that they
was too
included it.
short. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it was too crowded. There was too many people in the way of them, like blocking the view, and people were in the way of the camera. I'm like, move out of the way. you know, we're not here for you. We're here to see them dancing. you know, but
Yes.
but yeah. So you do get the cultural tones, from all that, and we stand. That's one of the things that I liked about the show. But yeah, where were we? Right, Van Damme,
Nephews.
superpower, that gang that he literally massacred.
Massacred what? Oh, the
With the
gang.
help of
Yeah.
Sun. Yeah.
And Wolfgang, no, a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we know like when it comes to fighting, you definitely want Son, then Wolfgang, and also Will.
I mean, but then again, Sun did not hesitate to like grip onto that machete, like, pretty
Yeah.
well. She said, "Okay, we can use this."
I think
What
Son
happened to those people?
I think Son was the most impressive. And I like it that she's a woman and we see her like being like super tough badass. But we also have Kala being like the feminine part, the girly girl, we can say. And she's also a badass now. So I like that because I feel like now that we're getting more like woman power and recognition, there's kind of a stereotype like, oh, yes, women can totally be powerful, but they need to master a sword and be expert fighters.
They have to be the warrior. They have to be like Sun, but it's like, no, it's like they can also be like Kala, and they can also
exactly.
be like
It's like, yes, they can be that, and thank you for recognizing it. But you can totally be just, and I don't want to say just. No, you can be smart, you can be nice, and you're still powerful in your own element.
It's, you're powerful in your own being yourself.
Yes,
and that's what was really like that. I like that that was put through in there. It's like the people right now in the current meme internet sphere right now, one of the current memes that's being said is like, gatekeep, girl boss, gaslight, and it's like the girl boss thing. People were pointing that out with Cruella, just recently came out, and a lot of Disney movies try and like do this, recently.
I don't like that.
The feminist takes that they try and put into the movies. It's not. Let's not
go there because I think Disney is like majorly screwing up with the live action things like Mulan and Aladdin, and it's like, you're really messing up.
Mulan, like the animated, it's like,
the animated was so much better, and you're like,
when the original was so much more feminist than the movie that was trying to be feminist, honey.
Yes, you're like, Disney, what the F are you doing? Even with Star Wars, and Rey, and we're like, well, we'll not go there, but we can go there. Let us know if you want to discuss anything else, like Twilight.
I'm like, Twilight. We'll do it for like, I don't know, something. I don't know. But
we can talk 5 minutes. Well, the point is like there is so much. We should do one, but everyone hates Twilight. There's no like contrary opinion there.
It's not. We're not claiming. Yeah, no one's claiming like Twilight. Oh my gosh, so good. So no, but that was like everyone kind of watched the movie.
Well, to me the deal was
against their wills.
I'd rather watch 2 hours of this movie than even try to read the books, because I was like, I'm not gonna invest any of my time reading this thing that it's not properly written. It's just trash. It's just a bunch of words.
Is it though? Is
I
it?
think so. I haven't read them, but
I don't. I mean,
I
like I have
strongly
so
think
many
so.
books to read. It's like I can't force myself to read something. I know it. Like, is it like? Yeah, no.
I don't think it's good literature at all. I don't need to read it to know. I just know. I can
We'll
ask the
just
tarot.
we'll move it. We'll move it along. We'll move it along.
So we have 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, this goes so fast.
I know it's like because
Oh, someone
everything
likes Twilight. See,
you see.
you can make that video.
Um,
Contrary opinion.
Essence 818. You can come on to the Twilight one. um. So yeah, it's we didn't even get through all the characters, girl. We might
We
we might
did.
have to do a part 2. Did we?
Well, yeah.
No, we didn't talk about
Cassius,
Will. Well,
we did. Will, cop,
he's a cop.
hero.
Well, was a cop.
Anything else?
I
No.
want no. I actually want to real quick. I really want to talk about this. Will's relationship with his dad.
Oh yeah.
That was a high. That was so sad when when he died. When his dad was like passing away. No, what was more heartbreaking was when Whispers got to his dad,
Yeah.
and that was like I was like, fuck
Oh, it's
up,
messed up.
fuck up.
Yeah.
He deserved better.
It is
But I mean,
very like heartbreaking.
yeah, and it's like
And it
moment
shows
of
you know
silence.
how complicated it is.
It's like there's so and but I will say one thing about the cop thing. The cop issue, the police issue in the show. I will say that's one thing. Huge disclaimer. This show was made, before, the Black Lives Matter movement and the before we really started reevaluating, the systemic racism in the U.S. And it's like just a little bit too soon, which you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think
Which
they were starting to touch on that. No, with another understated character, Diego. No, Will's partner. I think Diego was really important, and Diego was maybe more representative of the Latin community, but I think there was some intertwine there, no, between the Latin community and the Black community. I'm not saying that we're the same, not at all.
I mean, it was only like
it was
a little bit in the first episode. Like we got like that struggle, but then it's like that's it though. But it's like I was like, girl, they didn't know. I'll give them the benefit of they didn't know what we know now in 2020, 2021.
Well,
I'm pretty sure if this show was made, if that episode, if this produced in this year, I'm pretty sure it would have been filmed and written and directed way differently.
Yeah, because if we talk about Capheus, I think Capheus is one of the Sensei characters that I feel like he has less screen time than anyone else. That's how it feels. They also had to deal with a major thing of recasting, which when I started season 2, I was like, how is this gonna work?
I was like, when I saw season 2, I was like, wait a minute, what did they do to him?
I like how they address it, at the beginning.
They kind of joked about it. Like, what's wrong with your face?
And then I end up liking the actor in the second season much more than the first one. Yeah. I think he was so. I mean, I think
he had more. He had more of that charm.
Yeah, I think the first season guy was more attractive, like just face wise, but the season 2 had more charm and
he had more personality. Yeah, yes. You can see that I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have. I wonder how it would have been when he met his girlfriend in later down, when that gets him into politics and all. He was gonna become a politician.
Yeah,
girl, it would have been all over, girl.
I wanted to explore that more. With Kala, because Kala was also getting into the midst of, politics and all the other dangerous things in India.
With like I said, I'm sure I know that they were gonna try and make some connection with Rajan and Sun's brother. There was some underlying tone there, because it's like the medications and the pharmacies, and with Kafia struggling to get those and all that. And it's like, yeah, we're purposefully selling
Yes.
these defective
I
medications
love I
by
love
the
when Ryan no says like, oh yeah, but they go to Africa, no, and then Cafios, you immediately say see Kala as Cafios, and you were like, wait,
well, wait a
no,
minute.
and I just love that because that's a true thing, no, like, but we're all connected. What you mean? You're like, oh, this is not for my
Yeah.
people.
I think I liked how we like they were putting that connection, like even though these people are not sensates, they're also connected and influencing other people across the world as well. And I like that they
Yes,
kind of like I like that. It's like what we have here also affects what's across the world, butterfly effect.
it is. It is. I think also like we want to touch on the things that we didn't like
Oh,
because
I
there's
kind of
some we love a lot of things, we like a lot of things, but there's still things that we were like, so like Kathy's not getting enough screen time, which I kind of understand. No, major props to the show. No, because when you watch the making of, you see that they were actually filming on location,
everybody went there and everybody, yeah.
and this was like also props to the actors because like they were not shooting scenes in sequential order. You would film everything that was in California, sorry, in San Francisco, everything that was in Chicago, everything that was in Mexico, everything that was in India, everything that was in Nairobi, everything that was in Seoul. So you only have pieces of the puzzle, and they actually didn't know how it all makes sense until like the master
Until they
plan
got
comes
there, yeah.
together. No, because trying to save costs, that made sense. And I also, there's one part where I think Son and Kala, no, especially they're like, oh, what we want to show them around our home countries, no? Like, I want them to experience this and that. And the actors really had, no, true experiences of the culture through through their partners. And I think they actually became like a fellowship, no? They became really
Right.
close, the
Really
actors.
close friend. Like, I mean, like when you spend the time together as they did and you work together like they did, it's like you can't not,
And when you know them, no, because it's also, I think I mean, I do feel like actors should be able to play any part, but I also love that they cast it very authentically, very close to reality, which I don't think it's required, but I appreciate it a lot. Like, Nomi being trans, like Mexican people being Mexican, no, and Asia, Africa, everyone was well represented and being authentic. No, with the actors being authentic. No, German being trans. So, which I think it's needed because I definitely think it's doable. No, for an American actor to play, I don't know, an a German part. No, but they really need to study it, to commit to it, to
Yeah,
put time in it.
just because they look the part doesn't necessarily mean they know
No,
full,
the
yeah,
specific,
the
the
nuances,
nuances.
the mannerisms and the again the culture, the way, yeah, because it's like it wouldn't have worked.
And I mean, and the reality is it's not going to get more authentic than when you actually have people from those parts of the world, no, representing themselves, which is what we want in the. We talk about. Oh, let's talk on the nuance of tarot, no, and diversity.
Oh my gosh.
That we talk about it, no. It's like when you want one deck to have everything, you get into tokenism, you get into
you
things
don't,
that you don't want.
yeah,
Support diversity, support diverse creators, support diverse actors.
there's a difference. Yeah, there's a difference. There's for sure is a difference between like, yeah, sure, you'll get the people who look the part, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they know. They don't. They're not living it. They're not, fully a part of that thing, and to properly represent it. Yeah, and it's like sometimes it's like all you need to do is show people who look different. That's kind of just the goal you got to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're not. Sometimes it's like, because it's like, especially if you're doing something in the US, because it's such a cultural melting pot, you can have those different looking people all interacting and mixing together and coming together and making and having a story come out of that, and thus the same applies to like with tarot and all that.
Yeah, and we do see a little tarot reference, explicit reference. I think in the second episode, Will goes into a grocery store and you see a magazine that says something about psychic, and the magazine actually says tarot. So watch for that.
It's like the power of tarot or something like that on there.
Yeah, I was like, Zack, look at this.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
But what I did want to talk about, but I don't think we're going to have enough time for, I mean,
part two.
Kind of stretching it out here. You know, I don't want to eat too much into the 30-minute time, but I did want to talk about the number 8, its significance, the octode. You know, it like apparently, like I was reading on Spirit Keeper's Tarot for one of the Fool cards, there was an 8-spoked wheel, and that's a very prominent symbol. And the number 8 is also like, you know, and I was like, okay, what else is the 8? And I think there's 8 trigrams in the I Ching.
I don't know.
It's like the Bagua, I think is what it is, where it's like the 8, right? I don't know, right?
I know very little. I mean, I know that the 8 was super important. No, you see Sense 8, there are like 8. They were born on August 8, 8, 8.
We're all clusters.
Born on August 8.
Of 8,
yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. August 8. But I think they also have the 8 as a very explicit reference to infinity. No, and you can see the 8 being drawn as an infinity sign.
And you can do it with like just one smooth motion. You know, yeah. There's 8 trigrams in each.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like so. Now I'm like, now I want to see. No, that's too much work. I was like, if each of the 8, if each of the sensates were to represent a trigram, if like say Lethal represents one trigram and he's with Wolfgang and he represents a trigram, so it's like they would make the hexagram in that, the 6-line hexagram, when they, you know, depending on who's interacting in whose body and interact, you know, how would that look? I would like to see that. I would like to look into that. But I would have to figure out which elements, which trigram would be for which character.
I don't know. I need to study more about that because I know very, very little about it.
It's like we're barely understanding the Western stuff for us, and then like to go to the East and then learn, you know, all this, you know, which I'm liking Ben and Belwin's book, by the way. But
we stand Ben and Bell.
There's like, yeah, we stand. So yeah. There's also, what else? We also mentioned like the 3 mothers towards the end.
Yes, the triple goddess. I think we need to make a part 2 because I don't want to keep it too long, and I feel like
we did, because let me tell you, the side characters as well. The side characters as well.
Yes, they're amazing.
Done as like fleshing out the world around them, their interactions, like, you know, like Danny and Hernan.
Oh, I love them. So I think I also want to touch on the things I didn't like, because for me it's a perfect show, like, but perfect doesn't mean that there's stuff that I liked everything. There's stuff I didn't like, which to me is perfection. Like that's the definition of perfection. Like nature is perfect and it has imperfections.
So what? Because I'm very clear of like what I didn't like. Okay.
But I think we want to keep that as a
for part 2.
Yes.
We'll put it over
to part 2 if we want to see what we didn't like.
Like we've touched on Sun a bit, but we didn't really talk about like her storyline and her asshole brother.
And Wolfgang as well.
And Wolfgang and his and it's, and again, Kathy's like I said, we kind of tried to touch on it, but we'll talk about it in the next one. Next week, next Saturday, same time.
Yes, I think I can work. Yes.
All right. We'll keep y'all updated. Thank you everyone for stopping by.
Wait. Let's close in a little question. Now, like, who was your quote unquote like secret, not secret crush, but from not the cluster, outside the cluster, and then the second part we can say that from the cluster.
Okay, so let me see. Outside the cluster, secret crush.
Like, who was your like, oh, I'm totally into them.
Hold on, give me some time here because mostly inside the cluster it's Lito. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna say Hernan, no, Danny, Rajan, Diego.
I see. Rajan out. Yeah, it's Rajan. I would say
Okay,
for
okay.
outside the cluster for me. Like,
Also,
I'm
Son's
like,
guy. What was his name? I forget.
who? Which one?
Son's guy.
Oh, Detective Moon.
Detective
I
Moon.
remember now because his name
Yeah.
is Moon. She's son.
But I mean,
You're
it's
welcome.
like
But
one home one,
again,
right?
I wanted to
Yeah.
see more of it. I wanted to see more of it developed.
Well, we'll touch on that in
We'll
the
touch
next
on it
one.
later. Yeah.
Oh, Aaron says Amanita.
Amanita. Who's Amanita?
Who's Amanita?
I'm trying to
Naomi?
remember.
Amanita?
Oh, yes. Okay, now I remember.
Gosh.
There's so many freaking characters.
I'm gonna say. Oh, who was my. I'm gonna say Danny. Yeah, like she was amazing.
She. Let's be real. She carried that whole section.
She was just
She
amazing.
needed more work, and then
But
like
I like it that she was flawed. No, like she still went into the toxic relationship. She didn't know how to
made
get
mistakes.
out. She needed
Yeah.
help, and then she was like, "I'm gonna kick ass." No, and I know how to handle guns. That's cool. Like, 'cause I could totally see that. I don't because they're like, "How do you know guns?" No, and she's like, "Joaquin." Like he always said, and that makes total sense. Like it's totally believable.
It adds to the continuity. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't just like out of like, oh yeah, by the way, she knows guns. No, like Lito knowing bartending.
Surprisingly, they're real for like so much. They were able to handle so many things.
Yeah. Because the bartending, I think it was like pushing it a little, but it's like, okay, he's an actor, he learned, but then it was like
Lito knowing a gun, right?
Bartending, yeah.
Oh, bartending. I was like, wait a minute.
Bartending, yeah.
Which I mean,
they were flawed characters. Yes, they were flawed characters downright.
Exactly. They're human. They're human. Which I think that was part of the thing. Like,
yeah. And one of the characters I wanted them to explore more was the monk.
Oh yeah, Bodhi? Is that her name?
Bodhi, yes, Bodhi.
Yeah, I wanted her story. Where did she come?
She was also like androgynous. No, she was like a girl, a woman, but also woman, man didn't matter. She made the introduction with the triple goddess. We'll touch on that on the next one. So now you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I also want to. Well.
Oh yeah, Rajan.
Like, yeah. But I also want to like mention like Alien watch along later down in the future after this.
I'm totally down for that. Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Alien is one of my ultimate favorite series.
It's Sensei right now.
We touch on so many things. I mean, if you're watching this, put some comments. Zack is very good with comments. I'm not.
I try my best. But I'm pretty sure Lucy will be in there.
And let us know if you like this, because it's not super. Yeah. We made the stretch to tarot. We could make more tarot related. There was.
I feel like again.
Nuance on tarot there.
It's not much, but I feel like I said, I think the number 8 is the main focus, and I think we'll focus with tarot and 8. We'll see what that is.
And also because tarot, it's really about life, and I think Sense8 is a great show about life and diversity and how much we need it.
And the interconnectedness of it all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what better to represent, like connecting to the collective unconscious than having a cluster, to make it like super explicit.
Mm-hmm.
That's, they were like their tarot, connected in a mini cluster.
Mm-hmm.
That collective unconscious, they could access to the knowledge from each other.
And essentially with everyone else, if they connected, if they connected with other Sense8, then it would have,
I think
there's
that's
the archipelago, and then there's also like the mothers, which Bodhi was also part of. Like the archipelago is its own thing, right?
Yes.
And then you also have the evil BPO. Well, Evo, we'll get into it.
We'll get into that. Wrap it up here.
All right. Thank you everyone for stopping by. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you thought of the show if you watched it. If you haven't watched it, why did you listen to us ramble about it?
because they want to know what is this about. Is it worth watching? It's totally worth
It
watching
it
and
is
rewatching.
it is worth watching. I will say that. If I could get through it, you guys can get through it. it was it. It was good. It was good. And again, I wish they could do more. You know, that's really what it is. So yeah, yeah. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you all next Saturday, same time. And yeah, we'll. Oh, and it gives me a good reason to use the alternate poster that looks the same as this one for the thumbnail for part two.
Awesome. Part 2.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's it. Yeah.
We'll see you
Bye, everyone.
soon. Ciao.